Hi, I'm Michael Glidewell, and we're here with Crack Skull Record TV with episode 2 of season 1 of In Between the Cracks with SOBimN.
It seems as if you only just arrived.
So,
Nobody not told you, Brian, that you've got this kind of...
what would you say is the reason behind why you made this album?
The reason why People of Southwind was created in the first place was we were working on Cossatot material, and me and Spaz had decided to make beat tapes because I had gotten into making beats a long time ago, and I just ended up making probably 100 beats, and it was just out of fun. And I'm like, well, we have all this music that we're not doing anything with, and I'm like, I want to do something with it. And then Spaz also had a bunch of music that he wasn't doing anything with, so we're gonna do these beat tapes. And there was no idea for either one of them at first, and we're just like, okay, yeah, we'll just do 2 beat tapes, and it'll be fun because Zigg-Zagg over here was already starting MTM, and so we just were going to put more and more projects out there to just increase the label. And when he started making his beat tape, I was making my beat tape, and it just started to evolve into a completely different thing, which they both ended up not even really being beat tapes. They ended up becoming albums, kind of, but... And
out of curiosity, would this have been like a long collection, like years of collections of stuff you had been thinking about, or is this stuff that you've all just kind of recently both just started putting out, or, is this deep catalog of things you've just been kind of sitting on and waiting to get to?
I mean, it is, for me, it was a lot of just beats that I had, and I was just sitting on, and I know he definitely had a few.
Some of them was some I was sitting on, but I didn't go to rush to put those out. Actually, I ended up putting more of his beats on my stuff than I did my own. So, because I was trying to get beats for from everybody around here as best as I could, and I ended up running with some stuff that I know if I didn't take it would have probably ended up on People of the Southland.
Yeah, I definitely would have. Yeah, like he said, his ended up becoming more of a traditional album, and we'll get to that in a later series. But mine was the original intention was just to make a beat tape, no vocals, no samples, no nothing. And I mean, if you listen to the final product, you'll hear that that's not what ended up happening, because it morphed quite a bit throughout it, and it just ended up my love for doom sound collages and shit, and it came out a lot in it. I mean, there was always the intention of having people rap on it, because my intention was to showcase people that were around here, and it was going to be a huge MTM showcase and a Spaz showcase and stuff like that, and I had no intention of rapping on it at all, and that ended up changing entirely throughout it,
and we were glad it did.
Yeah, honestly,
it did become something just insane.
It became a very different thing. There was gonna be no Spoochie, there was gonna be no Gray of Mine, there was gonna be no me at all on it. It was very different from what it ended up becoming, and I guess we'll get just more into that as we go track by track, because I could go for a long time.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, you were talking about intention and everything, and I was just going through the track list. Also, I like a lot of the names of the album, and I figure as we go through the track list, you can kind of explain what your idea behind each song was. And one of the best titles on the album, I think, is song number 1, which is "The Future is Dead."
Yeah,
I'm just I love that name.
The title does not really bury the lead. It's just very there. It's "The Future's Dead." It's heavily inspired by the quote it's taken from, which is it comes from the movie Naked, and it's all about how it's like an independent movie, and it's very much about how we're all fucked, and the future was bought and sold a long time ago, and we're all kind of just in a shit show, and that's a common theme throughout most of my songs you'll find. So if you like that, keep listening.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, like the future is dead. It was the first single. It was the first song I finished, and it was one of the first samples I wanted to use from the album for sure. Like I've always wanted to use that sample for a long time, and I always.
Is this the first song from People of the South one that you made, or was this the song? Like, did you decide this was going to be song number one?
Well, that's hard to because the beats were made so randomly. I don't really even know which beat was made first. Like that's a hard thing to tell because they were all made when I wasn't even intending on putting anything out. You know, like because this also goes into a bigger story, which we'll probably get into in something else, where a lot of these beats were made for Struble, Dr. Struble.
Shout out Struble.
A lot of these things, and some of them were just made to be just fun things I was making at the time. Like I got a MacBook and I had GarageBand on it for free, and I'd only fucked with GarageBand like once when me and an early Struble were in like a metal band together, and we fucked with it because his dad had a MacBook and we tried to record a song on it.
Can you say the name of that band?
I mean, it had like 50 million names, but the last name we settled on and the most unoriginal one was "Welcome to the Family." So make fun of us for that.
That sounds
I think it's a cool name.
Nickelback
I
is a
still
thing.
think it's a cool name.
Welcome to the Family could be a thing. That actually
Welcome
sounds
to
like
the Family
yeah.
was the final name we settled on, and then that band never went. That collapsed, but
I could see you opening for like
Dr. Struble was my guitarist. He was my best friend. We did all this shit together, and we tried to record something on GarageBand. And so when I got a MacBook, I'm like, I know what this is. Like, I should have this for free on. I can just record. I can just download GarageBand. I got a MacBook now, and then I'm like, okay, well they have all these samples on here, and I was introduced to a new form of music I never really fucked with. Like, I'd only ever played with other musicians. I never made something by myself, and it really fucked with the whole my idea of music, where like I started making all these beats or at least individual songs that were like, some of them weren't things you would rap over or anything like that, but it was just an interesting thing.
and like complete control of the sound.
Yeah, and it was fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I ended up making like hundreds of things. Like I made a lot of just random things that I put together from samples
This is
and all
the
sorts of
first
shit.
album you've completely
And then,
done everything, like mixing, like
And that like I was talking about earlier, this is part of why I even did the beat tape in the first place, because I'm like, I have so much shit that I just have. I'm like, nobody's using it, nobody's doing anything with it. I might as well just put it out and try to find someone who's gonna do something with it. It ends up changing a little bit from there, but that was the original intention.
Yeah. Well, better to put that shit out than just have it sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah,
Like, that's-
it's so like, yeah, The Future is Dead was, I don't know where it came about from, but like it was fun.
An amazing
It was-
title. And the follow-up song number 2, another great title, Grass Tastes Bad.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel like that's
yeah.
subjective, because I mean, like, vegans,
Nah, it ain't
vegetarians,
subjective. Grass tastes
grass
terrible.
tastes bad. Some people eat grass.
Cows.
Cows.
Cows eat grass, and I eat
Hamsters,
cows.
animals of all sorts.
You see that camera? I eat cows. So,
You seem like a guy that would
Yeah.
eat cows.
Yeah.
Like a beef connoisseur.
like, nah, alive cows.
Live cows.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
That seems like Walking Dead shit.
and I'll say no more.
I'll say no more.
yeah,
So-
Grass Tastes Bad was just like
That seems like a spur of the moment.
it was
just come to the head type.
it was a sound collage kind of like MF Doom early kind of deal where it was just based off of catchphrases. Like it's got a bunch of, it was a very simple idea. It was just like, let's just get catchphrases And there is other phrases thrown in there that aren't necessarily catchphrases, but it was just to fill out the time. But
They're
like,
just
yeah.
good phrases.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of shit that like is memorable, and it's a pretty simple song, like concept wise. It's fun as hell to listen to. I really like the bass line and all that shit, but it's yeah, it's just
Kind of
all
like
about-
a fun, just just
fun bullshit.
Yeah.
You don't need to think about it.
Yeah. What would you say if you had to pick? What would you say is your most just like for the just for the fun of it, just like for the fucks, just like song, like that you were like, this is for me, like this is just me for fun.
I'm not gonna lie, man. It is pucker your lips like this. That was this. Even though I do think it has potential for people to like it, I'm just like, that one was for me. I just thought it was fucking fun.
It is amazing.
I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah, that'll pop up, and I can't wait to get there. I can't wait for everybody to hear that shit. That's gonna be club bangers. I feel like people in Germany will be playing it in like Euro Trip 2. Like it's gonna be that type of song. It is an amazing song, especially with how popular the rock is now. It's gonna be an amazing song. Now,
That's the reason why I'm scared of it getting any popularity, because I know I'll lose all the money.
when he
I'll go
runs
to
for
him.
president, it could be his campaign song. Now, the third song on the album, WM3, which is this is a song that it features the gentleman here.
Hey.
They have names.
Yeah, it's gonna be Spaz and Zigg-Zagg,
Yeah.
Ziggy,
You
Z,
said that like you don't know.
Cinderella.
Don't call me that.
He is not Cinderella. It is Zigg-Zagg over here. Now,
Get checked.
you guys, what is it? How many? Is this one of your first features? Like, what was it like featuring on this album for you guys? Was it something that thinking about it? Was it as deep
I don't think
being
it was
all
his
from
first
Arkansas?
feature. It's his only feature, but I don't think it's his first.
Well, I mean more from the kind of just that whole thing of like you guys knowing each other so long. This is one of the I would imagine this is one of the first things you guys have done together that is in kind of like the hip hop. You've made all the music, you put up the lyrics like for rapping.
No, me and Spaz actually had been doing hip hop for.
Yeah, they've been doing
I
that
used
for
to
a
go
while.
by a different rap name and all that
so
shit.
we've been doing hip hop for years. We just got to recording shit last year.
Yeah, this is why the initial intention was they were going to be the rappers on it. I was not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it was kind of like Nick. It was a beat tape, so it was kind of like spur of the moment a little bit. But like, I'll do anything for these guys. If they just throw me a beat and they're like, "Hey, I need 16 for this," I'm gonna throw 16 for it. And I just so happened to have a spare 16 on my phone that I actually really liked, and I was trying to find a beat for it, and whenever Nick sent the beat over, it just so happened to fit, like the flow fit perfectly over that beat, so I just recorded what I had, and it turned out good. And in the post, like the pop a tab of ACID part.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
Like
I will break windows when that comes
I didn't
on.
expect it, and then whenever we got it back and we were listening to the final product, the post production that he did on that part was really cool. So it's really cool. Like whenever I go to record shit for these guys too, because I'll forget about it. Like, and they'll just have it, and they'll sit on it for a while, and then whenever they finally get to release it, and I go back and listen to it, I'm like, it's kind of like I get to sit back as a fan,
Yeah,
and listen to it instead of critiquing myself like the day after or right after I record it type shit. So it's
Kind of
actually-
allows you to appreciate it more. You
does.
like
Yeah.
you don't judge it so hard, because in the moment, like even some of your best work, you come down hard on it and will kind of want to keep going at it. So it's like it gives you that time, like you said, to listen to it as a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But that's my part. That's how I feel about that song. It was pretty dope. I really enjoyed doing it.
But for the three of you, this would be your first big, like complete creation of like a concept, kind of like.
Well,
First time
I
we were all
think,
three on a song?
I think it
Well,
was.
I would imagine
Really?
like rapping. and-
Cause see, that's right. I rapped on
Poseidon and
Murder Tactics, the first
Yeah.
Murder Tactic. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yeah. Probably another episode.
But yeah, I think this is the first time we were all three before anything. Like I think this is the first release.
Yeah, where we all three actually rapped on a song together. Yeah.
And this is one of the first references to Arkansas as name wise, because the future is dead and grass stays that is references to things within the song. But WM3 is West Memphis 3,
West Memphis 3.
which calling back to when I was making songs for Struble, rapping with him, and you were also rapping. I threw that name out quite a bit. I'm like, we should be the West Memphis 3, and
I feel like it was kind of
nobody
ambiguous.
really- nobody liked that name. It didn't seem like I seemed like I was the only one who liked that name, and you and Struble weren't super into it.
I liked the name. It just seemed problematic.
And
I don't know.
so we never ended up using that name, and I just
Oh, it's said in a
saved it
few
for the
songs.
three. I just saved it for the song.
We must be the shepherds of our own civilization. To say that everything is permitted. To understand that
We hope you've enjoyed watching this In Between the Cracks episode. If you would, just like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. And if you'll just click that little notification bell so that way you see all of our new content that's going to be coming out. Again, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.